Hi, so in today's video I'm going to show you how I created this wreath using a simple shape that's in ScanNCut Canvas. I posted this and asked if anybody would be interested in a video, and I had lots of responses to this one. So I'm just going to explain briefly. I used 3 different colours of green card to make this design and some red for the centre. Now this green on the back here is mirror card, and this is all one layer. And then this pale green here is another layer, all cut in one piece, which I just added dash lines to with a pen by hand. And then these 6 darker green holly leaves that you can see here are all cut separately so that you can layer them and bend them and fold them and manipulate them as you want. And then the red poinsettia is cut just as it is from within ScanNCut Canvas, and again that's 3 layers, and I just cut 3 layers of the same colour red card. The yellow is also with this design in Canvas, and the centre is just a bit of card candy that I had that I stuck on the middle. So I'm going to pop over to ScanNCut Canvas now and show you how I made it. Okay, so I'm in ScanNCut Canvas, and the first thing I'm going to do is come over here to the filter icon, which I've shown in a previous video, and select that. Then I'm going to come to the categories, and you may find that everything is ticked here when you open your filter box. Deselect everything by just clicking in this where it says select all, and then come down and choose holidays and say OK. Wait for all the Canvas projects to load. And the one that I'm going to use is this one here called Christmas Flower. So I'm going to left click on it to select it, and then I'm going to choose this mat down here in the bottom left hand corner by choosing this box that says import parts. And that's going to bring all the parts onto my ScanNCut Canvas mat. So here are the elements. So I'm not going to do anything with these 3 shapes at the moment. They're the 3 shapes and this snowflake centre which create the poinsettia. And then you've got these 2 holly leaves. So I'm just going to drag one off to the side, and I'm just going to use this one for now. Now the first thing I'm going to do is rotate it, and you can hold the shift key down if you want so it rotates perfectly vertically, or you can just do it manually by dragging on this handle. Now while this one is selected, I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit ungroup, and the reason I'm doing that is because there's a dash line down the middle of this holly which I don't want at the moment. So now I'm going to left click anywhere on the page to deselect, and then I'm going to drag the bigger holly shape out of the way, and there's a dash line left behind which I'm going to select and hit delete on my keyboard. So now I've just got this basic holly shape, and if you want to remove the fill to work with it to make it easier, you can do. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to put the fill back in, I think, because I think it might make it easier to see on screen for now. So I'm not worried about this bottom bit here because I'm going to weld another shape to it in a few minutes, and that'll get rid of that. So the first thing I'm going to do with this selected is hold the Alt key down on my keyboard, which is the key generally somewhere along the bottom of your keyboard near your space bar. And while I'm pressing the Alt key down, I'm going to rotate this holly leaf, and that gives me a duplicate. And then I'm going to let go, and then with this one that's on the top selected, I'm just going to left click and drag it down underneath, and I'm going to leave a gap in the middle here. Now I'm not bothered too much about flipping them or anything like that. I'm just literally going to create a copy and put it underneath. What I am going to do though is select the both of them and go to edit and use the align center icon, so that they're kind of centered to themselves. While they're both selected, I'm going to right click and choose group, and that's now made them a group. Again, I'm going to hold the Alt key down and then using the rotate handle, I'm going to drag another set out, let go, press down on the Alt key again, and while keeping the Alt key selected, I'm going to drag another set out and let go. You could create these by doing right click duplicate and then putting them into place, but if you hold the Alt key down and use the rotate handles, it keeps the centres for you. So now I've got 6 holly leaves. I'm going to come over to the basic shapes and I'm going to choose a circle, and I'm going to position the circle over the centre and just take it down slightly. I'm doing all this by eye. I mean, at the moment you can see here that the circle's just over 3 inches. It's entirely up to you how you do it. This circle basically is going to be welded to this set of holly leaves to give us a more stable middle where we can use glue to glue everything together. So now I'm just going to position that roughly in the middle. Again, you can use the edit and center functions if you want. I'm going to drag an imaginary box around everything and go to edit and weld. And that's now welded the circle to all those 6 holly leaves. So that's given me a solid layer. Now with this lot selected, I'm going to come to edit, I'm going to come to offset, and I'm going to make the offset 0.12. You can make this as big or as small as you like, it's entirely up to you. I'm going to choose outward and I'm going to say create an offset line only around the outer edge and say OK. Just going to left click to deselect so that anywhere on the page. So this outer layer, which I will colour just so you can see it better on the screen, is what I cut in the mirror card. So I'm going to colour that in dark green. I'm going to right click and send it to the back, so hopefully it'll make more sense. This inner layer, which is the first one we started with the circle, I'm going to make in a paler green. That was my second layer. And then with the other holly leaf, again I'm going to hold the shift key down and I'm going to rotate it vertically. And then with this one, I'm going to right click while it's selected and bring it to the front. And then I did the same thing basically. So I duplicated this one. Then I held the shift key down and rotated it and put it into position over here. And then while that one was selected, I held the shift key down and selected the other one and made them a group. And then I held the Alt key down and just dragged another set out and then let go, then press the Alt key down, keep the Alt key pressed and dragged another set out. And these darker ones, I'm not bothered about the fact that they've got this circle that's punched out on the bottom, because these ones I'm just going to ungroup them in set. So select each one, right click and ungroup, because these are layered up manually by hand. And basically all as I did, I put some glue on the back of the light green layer on where this circle is and stuck it to the bigger one, which is the mirror card. And then I applied a big blob of glue here in the middle, and I bent these on the fold lines, on the dash line here inwards, and then I curled them with a bone folder, and then I glued them all basically in the centre like this, more or less, with those circles overlapping. And then I manipulated them and bent them all up. Okay, so with the poinsettia, I just brought the layers onto the mat and rotated them roughly into position where I'm going to layer them up as a cut object. brought the snowflake on. Now the snowflake is wanting to go behind, so I'm going to right click and bring it to the front. And then I selected everything and right click and made them a group. Then with this one, I selected all the holly leaves, right click and made them a group. And then I positioned this on top. So again, I'm going to have to right click and bring to front. Positioned it on top. And then I, with the poinsettia just there as a guide, I dragged the holly wreath out until it was about, I think I cut mine at about just under 9 by 9. And then this was just as a guide. I've not touched the size of this poinsettia, I don't think at all. I think I may have taken it down a bit. But I just did it by eye really to see how I thought it would look. And then once I was happy with everything, ungrouped everything and put the layers on the mat, ungrouped all these, and I just positioned these all on the mat separately because obviously I wanted to cut all the holly leaves, the individual ones, out of the same piece of card, and then the other 2 layers I want to cut out of different card. And then the same with the poinsettia, I ungrouped it and just positioned the parts on this mat, and then I saved it all up here in ScanNCut Canvas. I gave it a name and then I downloaded it and I cut it all in the 3 different sets of green and in the red card. And because you've got the poinsettia in the middle, that hides all these cut out circles when you position all these holly leaves on the top here. So I hope you found that helpful. So from a simple design that's already in ScanNCut Canvas, I was able to turn it into something else. And I was thinking that maybe if you cut 2 of these and put them back to back, they would look stunning if they were hung, you know, from a hook in the middle of a room or something like that. You could cut them smaller and use them as tree decorations, but if you're going to use this poinsettia, what I would do, I wouldn't make this snowflake much smaller. Layer your 3 layers of your leaves up for your poinsettia and maybe make them smaller, but don't take this snowflake a lot smaller than its standard size because it is quite detailed and you know, it may not cut how you want it to. Anyway, I hope you found that helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Make sure the notification bell icon is turned on within your YouTube settings, and that way you'll get notified when I post a video. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.